Well, hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado, and I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you got to spend some time with your family, your friends, eat some good food, and get some rest. Well, the holiday weekend is over, so we're back to local politics. And I gotta say, if you want to fight for freedom, if you want to protect your family, protect your home, protect your pocketbook, then one of the best ways to do that is to get involved with local politics. Know who your city councilors are, your mayor, show up to school board meetings, city council meetings, be an active participant in your community. It's one of the most effective ways for you to have a voice and stand up for what you believe in. Well, today we're talking about Colorado Springs. Colorado's second largest city is seeing its fair share of controversy over the mayor, Yemi Mobolade. Now, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. That's how I've heard it pronounced other places. But this mayor, Yemi, down there in Colorado Springs, is being accused of lying to the FBI over his knowledge of this hate crime hoax that happened right before the 2023 election that saw him win this mayoral seat. So let's dig into some of the details and see if we can get a little closer to answering that question. Did the Colorado Springs mayor lie to the FBI? So, first off, let's look at the timeline. Let's see what happened and when it happened. So, April 4th, 2023 was the Colorado Springs municipal election. Now, there was no clear winner. No candidate for mayor received over 50% of the vote, so it went to a runoff. Before the runoff happened, though, there was an event that is really the subject of this indictment, this big controversy, and that was a political yard sign. So Yemi for mayor, or something like that, was defaced, had a racial slur on it, and there was a burning cross in front of it. This happened in the early morning hours. It was videotaped. It was Pictures were taken. They were sent to media outlets across the state, maybe across the whole country. And now we know the intent was to drum up sympathy votes, empathy votes for Yemi, make it look like he was being attacked by racist people in Colorado Springs so that voters would feel more motivated to support him. That seems to be the intent as far as I understand it. So May 16th, 2023, the runoff election occurs and Yemi wins in what I would call a landslide. He beat the Republican candidate, Wayne Williams, by over 18,000 votes. So, maybe this burning sign or burning cross and deface sign did something, but it's hard for me to think that that's what got him over the top. I think he was going to win anyway. But nonetheless, there was an indictment on November 6th, 2024. So just a few weeks ago now, the Department of Justice indicted three suspects, this Bernard, Black Cloud, and West, for their role in this hate crime hoax and election interference. So let's see here. Here's an article from KOAA from April 2023. So kind of going through what happened there. So let's jump over to that, take a look, and see what is there. So just got to show you this. This is the sign. This was the picture in the video that was taken that morning of April 23rd, 2023, apparently by these three suspects, who then sent it out to media organizations to drum up these sympathy votes. Um, so racial slur on the yard sign, on the big sign. I mean, this is a big sign. Burning cross. I mean, totally staged, set up to make it look like it was something it wasn't. But of course, you have groups like here, the NAACP, jumping on, talking about how horrendous this is, which of course it is, it's horrendous, but nonetheless, trying to make it into this bigger racial issue. So, to the article. CSPD investigating video showing mayoral candidate sign painted with racial slur behind burning cross. So they started investigating it back then, of course. News 5 received the video Sunday evening, and our news team reached out to the video sender. And it seems that those were the suspects, as we'll see here. The individual that sent the initial video has not responded to us. Colorado Springs Police Department confirmed they were in the early stages of an investigation. Now, I thought this was really interesting. So here's Mobolade was asked, this same day, right? This is back right after the event happened. Here's was his statement to the media organizations. Quote, I'm aware of the video sent to media and recognize the hurt this heinous content causes our city. We do not know if the photo is of real events or if it was staged, created. That's very interesting right there, right? It seems like he has some sort of maybe possible knowledge that it was staged, created. So, nonetheless, very interesting. Either way, it is reprehensible. True. This is not the Colorado Springs we know, and it is likely the actions of an unhealthy individual. That's for sure. Simply put, this is a distraction from what this selection is about. We encourage the media to refrain from posting these photos as to not give this sort of behavior any oxygen. So that was the initial thought. I mean, so Yemi's right there, right after the event happens, says, hey, I don't know if this is real. Maybe it was staged. Maybe it was created. I mean, looking at the pictures, looking at the video, seems like, it's a little over the top for somebody to do that. So quite possible that maybe he thought that on his own, or maybe it's possible that he had some insider knowledge because he had some communications from the people involved. So nonetheless, this happens April 2023, and now here we are. Here's the official press release from the United States Attorney's Office on November 12th, 2024. I will have all these links at freestatecolorado.com. Please check it out, dig in. I'll have a lot of information there for you to go through if you want to really dig into this. So here we go. The United States Attorney's Office for the District of Colorado announces that Derek Bernard Jr., 35, Ashley Blackcloud 40, and Deanna West, 38, were indicted by a federal grand jury for maliciously conveying false information about a threat made by means of fire. According to the indictment, the three defendants were charged for their alleged roles in a conspiracy to spread disinformation about the threat. The 2023 Colorado Springs mayoral runoff election involved candidate 1, Yemi, who was black, and candidate 2, Wayne Williams, who was white. After the initial election, but before the runoff, Bernard sent a message in which he explained he was, quote, mobilizing my squad in defense, Black Ops Big Brother. So we'll look at those. I won't read through those now because we're going to read through them here in just a second. But nonetheless, there's the indictment. You can read through the entire details. It's very interesting. So I'll post the link where you can read through the indictment, the PDF of it as well. But I took a few choice selections here, so I want to read these from you directly from the indictment. This is not from a press release, not from the media. This is the direct quote from the indictment here against these three individuals, Bernard in particular. On or about April 5th, 2023, the day after the mayoral election, Bernard texted Blackcloud that he wanted to talk in person because he was not talking on the phone about nothing that's about to happen, and that I'm going to just talk to you about a few plans. On or about April 13th, 2023, Bernard sent a Facebook message to candidate 1. So Bernard's sending this Facebook message to Yemi himself. Quote, I know it's crunch time, sir, but look, I spoke with some of my friends in other places, and there's a plot amidst. I'm mobilizing my squadron in defense and for the final push. Black Ops style Big Brother. The Klan cannot be allowed to run the city again. End quote. So this is Bernard sending this Facebook message to Yemi, calling him Big Brother, Black Ops style Big Brother. So interesting choice of words there. And then on or about April 13th, 2023, Bernard sent a series of Facebook messages to Blackcloud. Among other things, Bernard told Blackcloud, I can't let the Klan retake the city. Yemi really won already. They doing some bees runoff now because they ain't trying to let an African win. I got a plan. So as you can see, there's the genesis of this conspiracy here. Continuing on with the indictment, thought this was interesting. On or about April 23rd, 2023, at approximately 7:30 p.m. So this is that day, right? This happened 2 a.m. in the morning. They lit this cross 2 a.m. and not exactly 2 a.m., but it was 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. They lit the cross on fire, took the video, did the photo op, sent it off to the media organizations off public Wi-Fi. You can read all of that if you'd like. But here's what I thought was interesting. So Bernard texted Yemi that day, I guarantee the finish, in response to a message about needing support to get to the finish line of the mayoral election. On or about April 25th, 2023, Bernard texted candidate 1, so Yemi, he's texting him, brother, some foul stuff came up. Our email. I'm not about to play with racist cowards, brother. On or about April 26, 2023, at approximately 10:55 p.m., Bernard spoke with candidate 1 for approximately 5 minutes via telephone. So here we go, 3 days later. Not only is he texting him, he mentions an email that he had with him. he's previously communicated with him over Facebook apparently, and now he's talking to him on the phone. On or about May 16th, 2023, Yemi won the runoff election for mayor of Colorado Springs. Bernard texted Yemi, "Sir, time upon us all, and we got you through it all, brother. Well done again. I have the info you requested before. Another time, though, we'll handle business." And then the indictment also states that Bernard had reached out to one of the other conspirators, telling them they should apply for a job at the city of Colorado Springs, potentially trying to get some sort of payback or, quid pro quo or something like that from the situation. So interesting stuff there. This is from the official indictment. You can read all those details if you'd like. So the Gazette reported here, updated November 29th, 2024, 3 indicted for hate crime hoax to support Colorado Springs mayor candidate Mobolade. Now, interesting stuff. I just wanted to point out this Bernard guy. I mean, he is unhinged, loose cannon from what I can tell, but he recently appeared in court in El Paso County. So this is the same guy, right, who is running this hate crime hoax, apparently. Let me blow that up for you a little bit bigger here. But Bernard recently appeared in court in El Paso County defending himself against charges that he ordered the 2019 murder of William Underwood, who went by the rapper name FYL Jack. The trial was quick. Just over 48 hours after opening statements, Bernard was found guilty of 3 counts of murder for ordering Sean Matthews, 26, to kill Underwood. He was sentenced to life in prison without chance of parole. Wow. So, I mean, this guy is willing to commit some sort of hate crime hoax. He's willing to send somebody to death. I mean, absolutely crazy. Wow. So, I just got to point out this sloppy reporting here from the Gazette. Um, it says that Bernard sent a message to the other 2 in which he explained he was saying all this stuff, but he was really sending it to the candidate. I know the original press release from the Department of Justice had the information wrong there. They went back and edited it, but the Gazette did not change it themselves either. So there's this Derek Bernard guy. Bad stuff there, that's for sure. But here's the Daily Wire article. So this is the article that was really causing a lot of the controversy. Definitely got to look at this here. So this is November 21st, 2024. Mayor lied in hate crime hoax probe, but DOJ refused to charge him, FBI official says. Wow. So I don't know who this Luke Roziak guy is, but apparently he works for the Daily Wire. So let's check this out. The FBI referred Colorado Springs Mayor Yemi Mobolade for prosecution for making false statements related to a hate crime hoax intended to boost his candidacy. But the Department of Justice refused to pursue it for racial and political reasons, an FBI official told the Daily Wire. Now, we don't know who this FBI official was or is. We don't know a lot of these details, unfortunately. But what we do know is what's reported here, or that they reported it at least. On November 12th, the acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Colorado announced that 3 of them have been charged. We already went through that, so we'll kind of skip ahead here. Thought this was interesting here. So, communications obtained by investigators showed that the now mayor was in close contact with the lead suspect, Derek Bernard, before the incident on the day of and afterward. The FBI interviewed Mobolade twice to determine his knowledge of the hoax, and Mobolade explicitly and strenuously denied contact with Bernard, the official said. The official said there were dozens of messages between Bernard and the now mayor. Wow, dozens. The official also said Mobolade was scrolling through his phone as a memory aid during the interview, but that he was literally skipping over text messages, not realizing that the Bureau had already obtained them elsewhere. Bernard is a career criminal who was sentenced to 32 months in prison. In 2018, allegedly attempted to kill 2 police officers and has since been convicted of an unrelated murder of a rapper who disrespected him. Wow. As a result of Mobolade's conduct in the interviews, the FBI referred the now mayor to the Department of Justice to face charges for making false statements to federal investigators, the official said, but the Justice Department refused. Quote, the initial response from the Department of Justice was, "We can't indict the first elected black mayor of Colorado Springs," the official said, adding, "In my experience, if anyone had been in that position, they would have been charged with lying to a federal agent." Wow. Instead, the Justice Department arranged for Mobolade to do a 3rd interview. During that interview, most of his answers consisted of, I do not recall. This was contrary to his interview answers from the previous two interviews, where he denied involvement very strongly, the official said. The DOJ then told the FBI it would not charge him with false statements. So, wow, interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff. Mobolade seemed to expect even more from the Justice Department. On November 13th, the Daily Wire emailed the mayor's spokespeople asking about his communications with Bernard. That day, he personally called the Justice Department to request that it put out a second press release saying he was not a subject in the hoax hate crime investigation, the official said. Wow. The Justice Department seemed open to doing so and consulted the FBI about it. But the FBI was taken aback by the request because the mayor was, in fact, on investigators' radar, the official said. Additionally, such a statement would come just as the other defendants had a reason to provide information about any involvement by Mobolade as a part of plea deals. And an unusual and premature exoneration from the DOJ could derail that, the official said. Interesting stuff. Absolutely crazy there. Um, you can read through the rest of this if you'd like, but I think that's really the big stuff. We kind of covered most of the rest. Wow. So, I'd love to know who this FBI official is, love to know more details about it, but nonetheless, pretty explosive information there. Hard to believe that it's made up. I mean, there's got to be some truth to this, right? So here we go. The Gazette here updated November 29th, 2024. Another article. Colorado Springs Mayor Mobolade says he fully cooperated with investigation into faked hate crime. So he finally responded. He said, I had no knowledge, warning, or involvement in this reprehensible act. I fully cooperated in the investigation, and it is important that the judicial process is followed to allow for a successful prosecution that brings justice for our community. So, interesting stuff there. It is unfortunately not a new trend that politically motivated websites will weigh in with no regard for accuracy or truth and interest only in sensationalism and scandal, Mobolade said. Now, Councilman Dave Donaldson's been bringing the mayor to task here, really asking for just some answers, saying that the mayor needs to be transparent, needs to tell the city council, tell the people of Colorado Springs if he lied to the FBI. So Donaldson also said that his full statement, as well as Mobolade's full statement, was not published by the Gazette, and that if the full statements were published, it wouldn't look so good for Mobolade. So interesting to see that happening. Interesting to see the Gazette potentially playing a little nice here with the mayor. Another article here, we got George Brockler, who's one of the top Republicans in the state of Colorado at the time, I would say, at this time. Springs mayor owes public some answers. So this was from November 30th, 2024, updated then. Key points here. He goes, there are only two options for what happened here. First, a member of the FBI leaked information and lied to smear the reputation of Mayor Mobolade. U.S. taxpayers and citizens of Colorado Springs deserve to know if that happened to their mayor, and if so, what the consequences of such misconduct are. There should be a firing and prosecution if feasible. Second, it is all true, and Mayor Mobolade did lie to the FBI multiple times. If so, there must be a prosecution by the U.S. attorney and a recall election if the mayor does step down out of shame. So interesting point there. I agree with Brockler on this that, there's really only two options, right? If this FBI agent is lying, got this information to the Daily Wire for who knows what purposes, just because he doesn't like the guy or something, and then lied about it, I mean, that's a big deal. That definitely should be investigated. Or the mayor's lying. I mean, what seems more likely to you after all the evidence? Hard to say there. Maybe, maybe not, hard to say. But nonetheless, I'm going to post all these documents. Just wanted to show you this. Here's how much Yemi won by. I mean, substantial amount. What surprises me is who is this Yemi guy? Like that's one of my big questions here is where did he come from? He all of a sudden appears. He moved to Colorado Springs in 2010. Trying to do some background research on the guy. All they really say here is that he's a businessman and politician. Not sure how much of a businessman he is. I was able to find a CV, a resume that Yemi had online back in 2022. So before he was elected mayor, his real name is Blessing. Yemi's kind of a nickname based off his middle name. But what I found really interesting, the guy's got a lot of schooling for sure, but it doesn't look like he's actually held a real job since 2015. The guy I mean, you can look at his birthday here. He was born in 1979. So here we are in 2015. He's, 37 years old, and he got his first real job, according to his resume, as a city engagement director for the First Presbyterian Church in Colorado Springs, and then also founded a restaurant or a cafe coffee shop called the Wild Goose Meeting House. Now, the Wild Goose Meeting House, as well as his other place, the Good Neighbors Meeting House, are two places that have faced some scrutiny in Colorado Springs. And apparently, that's Yemi's background, is that he started these two coffee shops, he worked for this church, and then also started a nonprofit. All at the same time, all in 2015, after moving to Colorado Springs in 2010. I'm wondering where he got his money from, where he got his backing from. Who is this guy? Look at his LinkedIn profile as well. I'll link everything there. He listed he was a mayor. He's been a business coach and consultant for 14 years. Started this Good Neighbors Meeting House 7 years ago. The Wild Goose Meeting House 11 years ago. Worked, I guess, City of Colorado Springs Small Business Development Administrator, Chamber of Commerce, his nonprofit, and then the church, but nothing before 2015. I don't know what he was doing all those years or where he came from. But nonetheless, if you want to dig in, there's Darcy. I'm not sure how you say her last name down in Colorado Springs. Showing is how I would guess to pronounce it. But she has this drive of all these different documents or pictures she's collected, trying to uncover the truth about Yemi. So I'll share that with you if you want to dig in. Like I said, though, Yemi is portrayed as this businessman, but his businesses that he's run have not been doing great. Here's an archived article from the CS Indy, so kind of a left-wing rag down in Colorado Springs, saying workers organize against owners of Wild Goose, Good Neighbors Meeting House. So this is back in 2020. As you can see, there's a picket line, there's protesters out there. They're alleging wage theft, retaliatory firings, sexual harassment, 50 people picketing in front. People, I mean, it was bad. Tip theft, all this stuff down there at Yemi's business. I don't know if this came up during the campaign or not, but nonetheless, if this is the business he's running, there's this Reddit thread here saying, hey, if now this is years ago, back in 2020, if you know anyone who worked at either of these cafes or restaurants with the past 3 years, you're eligible up to $7,500. All staff have been included in a legal tip pool, paid less than minimum wage for several years. So, wow. Definitely some controversy as well. Colorado Springs mayor denies allegations he failed to repay debt, places blame on former business partner. So there's two lawsuits from Shamrock Foods Company state that his Wild Goose Meeting House and Good Neighbors Meeting House failed to repay bills amounting to nearly $29,000 and nearly $68,000 respectively in 2018. So I mean, and I only bring this up because it's like, who is this guy? Where does he come from? He comes to Colorado Springs, sets up these two businesses that are struggling, have some serious issues. He's supposed to be this big businessman. Not sure about any of this. The Wild Goose even just closed this last September because of all these issues. I can only imagine, right? So rough stuff there. Um, a lot of questions to ask about this Yemi guy and who he is, who supported him, who brought him here, and then now all this controversy is kind of bringing it to light. You can look at the campaign finance documents. I'll share those at freestatecolorado.com as well. This was from the city clerk in Colorado Springs, but you can see where his money came from for his campaign. See if you see anything interesting there. And then I do have to mention this the peak.news. They have been doing some videos this last week and some compiling some information about this hate crime hoax, they're calling it. So check that out as well. But nonetheless, interesting stuff, folks. Interesting stuff. I don't know if we know the answer. I don't think that we're any closer to answering the question, did the Colorado Springs mayor lie to the FBI? But as Brockler pointed out, what's more likely, that the mayor lied to cover up his knowledge of this hate crime hoax, or that the FBI agent lied to smear this mayor in Colorado Springs for some reason? I don't know. Interesting stuff. We'll definitely keep an eye on this. But if you're in Colorado Springs, get involved, start showing up, start paying attention, because you know, this is your community, folks, and we got to have a voice and do something about what's happening in our own cities, right? So, thank you very much. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up, a lot of opportunities for activism as well in 2025. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado. We'll see you next time.